Well, it's 7 in the morning, 7:30, and the gnats are already out. It's in the 60s right now. It's going to be a little warmer today than yesterday. Two momentous odometer related things are going to happen today in the next 3 miles. First, the trail itself is stupid gnats. The trail itself is 2,198 miles long, and I'm going to be passing 1,198 in just 2 miles. And so at that point, I'm down to the triple digits, 999 more miles to go, which is kind of cool. The other thing that'll happen is I'll hit mile 1,200. There will probably be signs for that. I'll try to get a picture of one. And I'll probably also start to see signs or mile markers for southbounders. Hadn't seen any yet, but I would imagine that their 1,000th mile will be momentous, and they'll probably have a sign up for that. So I will try to video some of that today. Well, this seemingly random rock pile, rock scramble out in the middle of the woods has the distinction of being at 2,000 a mile, 1,198.7. So I am now crossing into the 3-digit numbers, so I have about 999 miles to go. Okay. This is kind of a nice view. An idyllic farm community. I think what they did is they took all the rocks out of the fields and they just kind of threw them up on the trail here and called it good. There it is, 1,200. The other guy in the shelter last night's name was Odo, or odometer, and he's been making these, so I guess I'm getting to piggyback off of his effort. So thank you, and on to the next mile marker. So I was sitting right here on this log, filtering water that I got out of that stream, and I looked over in this direction, and let's see if it's still here. But humongous snake went across the trail towards that water. I think it was just a black snake, but I do not know. I don't see him. I just came up this hill and I heard this sound. There he is. He won't move. I'm really about this far from him, but anyway, I gotta throw some rocks down there and see if I can get him to move. I'm not going into the brush. They usually have friends. Well, that was unnerving. I found like a 20-foot long dead stick. Kind of poked him with it, and he got off trail. Holy cow. That thing was huge. I slept in the St. John's Church Pavilion last night. in Port Clinton. You would think Port Clinton would be a really good spot for hikers because it's right after 70 miles or so since the last resupply area, Duncannon. And you would think that they would have something for hikers. The restaurant is closed on Mondays. And I guess since the restaurant is part of the hotel is closed on Mondays. So you don't have any place to stay in Port Clinton. And then, so other than this pavilion. So the pavilion was interesting. It had a $10 donation fee. They didn't have water nearby. You had to go a couple blocks down to a house and use their outdoor spigot. And they had no electricity and no walls, just a roof. And yeah, they charged $10. So, okay. I didn't want to go any farther, so $10 is what it was. But I really could have used the breakfast at that restaurant, but they don't open for lunch or for breakfast. They don't open at lunchtime. Oh well. Next town. I really could have slept under this bridge. I slept right next to the road. It was about this loud. Anyway, so this would have been $10 cheaper. Obviously, still in Pennsylvania. I'm hiking somewhere up there to Pulpit Rock. I hope it's a nice view. It's an awful big climb to get there. Pulpit Rock. It's kind of nice. Yes, it's got a commanding view. It would be nice if it wasn't a hazy day, but oh well. There's a pavilion or something back here. Actually, it's some telescopes. Long way out here to come to get pictures of the sky, but I suppose without maybe city lights, they're better. Okay. Back to the trail. I was thinking maybe there'd be something fun. Pop machines, something at the observatory. But no. I've been cussing at Maryland for a while. I know there's better routes that aren't as rocky. I've seen the snowmobile trails that I've crossed over and over. They even go right along the trail. But then I got to this, and I thought, wow, somebody finally put some effort into cleaning up these trails. But that only went for a few yards, and we're back to this. I mean, this is miles and miles. My shoes were brand new at the beginning of a week ago. I'm already thinking about what shoes I have to buy when I get to New York or whatever the next state is. New Jersey, I think, actually. Enough complaining. I knew all these rocks on the trail couldn't be natural. They ran out of places to put the rocks, so they piled them up here. Well, this is quite striking. What a view. This is off trail. This is a place called the Pinnacle. I don't know what it is, local landmark. You can see the birds flying over there. I don't think that those are dog tracks. I think they're bear. Well, thank you, Odo, for making a note of this 1,234.5. 1234.5. Another momentous mile marker. I stayed at the Eckville shelter last night. It's a small shelter, it's an old shelter. It's kind of like a tool shed. In fact, it is a tool. It used to be a tool shed, I think. It's right behind this guy's house. There was a flush toilet up there in the summer privy, and there was a shower. You can see the shower, the water for the shower over here. Right there, those barrels, heated by the sun. So since it's cloudy, it was a cold shower. But I did have a shower. I needed that. I think on a really hot day, that would be wonderful. For me, it was one of those times when you make a decision and you really wonder if you should have done that. You're regretting your decision because it was cold. I soaped myself down and then I stood under the shower, and it was enough to take my breath away. Now I'm going back down this road to the AT, which is, I think, up at the top of this hill. And I'll continue on. Today started out nice and flat. Well, not rocky. It was a hill, but not rocky. And I started to regret my complaining about Rocksylvania. But, whoa. Well, we're back to the rocks. Whew. It's going to be a long day today. Well, now that's a rock scramble. Some big rocks, about 30 feet down, 40 feet down. More like this. Well, I don't think I'm going to be using my poles for this. That's what it looks like from the bottom. Don't see much of this in Pennsylvania. water cache. There's like 18-mile water carries, and very few times do you see somebody nice enough to put out water. It's so nice for us hikers to find water. I have water because I filled up not too far back, and I'm only going a couple more miles, so I'm pretty good. But I'll leave that for the next person. I'm at the Lookout Hostel. I've got some eating to do. Yay! I've got the air conditioner on. I've got hot water, and Epsom salt in a vibrating warm foot bath. I got a Diet Coke next to me and a pizza. So this has been good.